From South Carolina Public Radio, this is Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. Thank you so much for joining us, because this week we're celebrating music in all of its form and genres.
We're doing them all?
Every single one.
Yeah. Coming up, we'll see if you can guess the U.S. president based on the musical instrument they played, look back on the history of musical innovations, and take flight with stories of some famous musicians and their unusual use of airplanes. Two of the stories are true, one's not. Can you tell which one's a lie?
No. But if it sounds like it's fun and you want to join us, give us a call. 803-470-6347. Again, that's 803-470-6347. We would love for you to join us for an episode of Who, What, When. You can also give us an email, whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org, and you will have a chance to win a Who, What, When fanny pack.
Big time.
I know. And the title of Who, What, When Champion of the Week.
Stakes are high, Bran, and this week we're talking music, and you, sir, and I'll toot your horn.
Okay. If we're talking music.
You're a musician.
I dabble in a little bit of this and that. Yeah. I was in a band.
You were in several.
I know.
Don't you still make a Christmas album every year?
I make a Christmas album every year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. The Winter Failure. But also I was in a band in Greenville called Brandon and the Books. Bad name for a band.
Well, originally, wasn't it a cover band?
Yeah,
and
we
that's
were
why
going
it
to
was called Brandon and the Books.
Thank you.
And it was a great name when
Yes.
you were doing covers.
Yes, but then I
you
realized
guys-
I don't like doing covers.
You
I
wrote
get
your
bored.
originals, and then it was a terrible band.
Then it was like, what are these guys? Well, there's no books to be found, and I don't read. So a bad name all around, but I think those days are behind me.
But
Kids-
I would still call you a musician.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
think-
once a musician, always a musician. If you know what I mean.
Man, that run, special. You know what
Thank
else
you.
is special?
What's that?
Us getting to our first game today.
Yes. I think we should, Dano, and we'll need some contestants for that. Again, if you want to join the fun, give us a call, 803-470-6347.
Got two callers on the line. Caller number one, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Lynn, and I'm from the Seacoast region of New Hampshire, so southeast New Hampshire, about an hour north of Boston.
Lynn, you do have a chance at that Who, What, When fanny pack, but so does our second caller today. Caller number two, tell us your name and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I am from Des Moines, Iowa.
Lynn and Aaron, thanks for calling in. We've got you on the line for our first game today, which we're calling Sax Education. Now, are you okay over there?
Yeah, no, I had something in my throat.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nothing about the name Sax Education that's funny. It's not a joke.
You may not know this, but November 6th is National Saxophone Day.
I think we all knew that.
Yeah, we did, of course. Celebrating the invention of the saxophone in 1814. We also all knew that.
Of course.
But that's not what we're going to be talking about in this segment. National Saxophone Day did, however, remind us of the time that then presidential candidate Bill Clinton played the saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show in 1992.
A wonderful moment for all.
Yeah, you remember it. You weren't even alive, but you do
Well,
remember
I've
it.
seen the clip, YouTube.
We've all seen the clip. It's very, very famous. And I think that Bill Clinton is probably the U.S. president who's most famous for the instrument that they played.
Interesting.
But did you know that many of our presidents played musical instruments, Brandon?
I did not.
It's true, and that's what our first game is all about.
Oh.
That's Sax Education for you. Very serious
That's
name.
right.
Here's how it's going to work. Lynn and Aaron, I'm going to give you an instrument played by a U.S. president along with some clues about their lives, and you're going to have to name the president. There are 4 clues for each president. The clues will start out very difficult and then get progressively easier from there. You'll both get a chance to guess after each clue, and we'll take turns on who gets to guess first. Are we ready to play Sax Education?
Yeah, born ready. Let's do it.
I love it. All right, Lynn, you're going to get the first option to guess here. Number 1, this president played the flute. Yes. They were a flutist or flautist. I don't know.
It's flautist.
I think it's flutist. The first clue, Lynn. This president struggled to win people over after passing the Tariff of Abominations, which many believe cost him a second term in office. Tariff of Abominations, that's ringing some bells for you.
It
isn't
absolutely. Listen, I wake up talking about the Tariff of Abominations every single day. So this is clear as crystal for me. But Lynn, was that a helpful clue to you? Do you have a guess on who this might be?
Okay. He didn't get a second run at being president. Tariff of Abominations. Oh, goodness.
And then don't forget the Tariff of Abominations.
The Tariff of Abominations. I would say, so this has got to be, I don't want to say like Warren Warren Harding or anybody like that.
That'd be embarrassing. Yeah.
I'd be embarrassed for that one. I'm going to say it's going to be somebody early on.
Okay. Okay. Is that your final answer? Is your final
My
answer
final-
someone early
President,
on?
someone early on.
Early on, I could say Thomas Jefferson. I won't say Thomas. I'm going to pick one of my favorite presidents, John Adams.
John Adams is incorrect.
Wow.
Incorrect, but we did talk it through quite nicely,
Yeah.
I would say. Brandon, before we get to Aaron's guess, just a quick yes or no. Do you know what a tariff is?
Yeah, it's one of those
great.
things
That's all
that
I
kind
needed.
of
Aaron, what are you thinking about
it makes
about
it to
this?
where you can tear it easily.
Yeah,
Like,
you
know
can
how,
tear it if you need to.
Yeah, if you need to.
Yeah, that's right. Aaron, what are you thinking here?
I'm thinking my AP history teacher back in high school will be very disappointed because I do not remember the Tariff of Abomination.
More than fair.
Yeah. I agree with Lynn. I think it's probably somebody from the very beginning of the United States. I'm going to go with my favorite president. I don't know why. Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson, another good guess. Also incorrect. We're moving on to clue number 2. And why should you remember the Tariff of Abominations? It was abominable.
Yeah.
You don't want to remember that.
Yeah. It's not a snowman.
All right, here we go. Your second clue, Lynn. Andrew Jackson accused this president of winning the election not through the votes of the people, but through a corrupt bargain with Henry Clay.
Henry Clay. Yeah.
What are you thinking there, Lynn?
Oh, man. I would prefer it if this game was called My Favorite President.
Who's your second favorite president? Let's go with that.
Oh, my gosh. What did Aaron say?
Aaron said Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my next one. All right, and it's not John Quincy Adams, who, of course, I could tell you everything about. How about the person who was president after Quincy Adams? And, but I don't think that's right either. I'll say Harding.
Harding is incorrect. Aaron, what are you thinking over there?
I don't know. This is very challenging. I don't recall history, and apparently I don't recall even what a flute is at this point because this is overwhelming. Let's go with. I live in Polk County. There is a Polk president. Let's go with Polk.
James Polk is our answer. It is incorrect, but a good guess there. Last clue for Lynn. This is the 6th president of the United States and son of our second president, John Adams.
John Quincy Adams.
Yeah, John Quincy Adams. That's correct.
Great. Wow. JQA, big on the flute.
JQA, big on the flute.
How about that? What do you think his favorite flute jam was?
Probably Shake It Off.
Yeah.
John
And we've
Quincy
got that
Adams,
audio?
We
No?
do not.
Ah, dang it.
He was not just a player of the flute. He was an accomplished flutist.
Wow.
He wrote his own songs while attending Harvard, where he also participated in the Musical Society of Harvard.
That sounds like some shady stuff went on in the musical society.
Yeah.
Anytime the word society
right.
is in there, I don't believe you. I
Tariff
think
of
you're-
Abominations,
Yeah.
Musical Society.
It's all
Was
connected.
JQA an occult? I don't know.
Who can say?
We don't want to break any news
Dude, a
here.
crazy flute cult would be
Something.
amazing.
All right, Lynn's got one, Aaron's got none, but Aaron gets to go first here, and this second president is known for playing the piano.
Yes.
And I will say this, just the piano.
Don't branch out,
That's
whatever
right.
you do.
Yeah. Your first clue, Aaron, this president is the only president from the state of Missouri. Or Missouri, as they probably call it.
It's a good state.
It is a good state. It actually borders my home state.
That's right.
I knew that, yeah.
So let's go there. Let's go with Truman.
Truman is correct.
Wow.
The Midwest, this is what I call the old Midwest advantage. Is
They don't have an advantage in much, but with sex education,
All right, Brand, you can send all your emails to brand@whowhatwhen.com.
I don't think that's what it is.
That's right. Brand called him, he goes, flyover country. We got somebody from there. That's what you said, not me. Aaron,
said that in confidence.
Aaron lives in Iowa, borders on Missouri, knows that Truman's big in Missouri, and that made it easy for her to collect a
How
point
about that?
and tie things up. Lynn, did you know that?
I did know that. It's the library at Princeton University.
Wow,
There
there
you
you go.
So he played the piano,
He played the piano, yeah.
but only the piano.
Yes, Truman played the piano through his entire childhood. He even played the piano for the Kennedys.
Wow.
When he visited them in the White House in 1961. So when he visited John F. Kennedy, he tickled the old
Harry,
ivories.
play us a song.
What was that, Jimmy Stewart you just did?
Harry, play us a song.
Ask not what your song can do for you.
That's right.
We have someone from New England here on the line, and
Yeah.
we're just butchering it.
Well, I
left
think
and
we're
right.
doing fine.
Lynn, are you ready for
Seacoast,
your
really.
first clue? Seacoast is different. Yeah,
barely
very
counts.
different, yeah. Lynn, this president played 5 instruments.
Oh, all right.
All right, Jimmy. The piano, the sax, the clarinet, the accordion, and the violin.
Does anyone really play the accordion?
We all do. We all do. The accordion plays you.
Amen.
Really. Your first clue. This president was a longtime politician before becoming president, authoring the foreign policy of the Republican Party for the majority of the 20th century.
Man, lots of words in that one. Lynn, are any of those words helpful for you?
No, I kind of had a brain cloud at accordion.
Yeah,
Can't even
you and me
picture
both,
anyone.
Lynn.
I think we all do. You know what I mean?
Let's go with, how about Calvin Coolidge?
Calvin Coolidge is a Republican, is from the 20th century, is not correct, though.
You know what I always say, though? Coolidge is the coolest.
You say that every day.
Yeah.
You come in, you're like, Coolidge is the
Yeah.
coolest. That's right.
I don't know, like,
Every listener got out of their car just now. All right. Aaron, do you have a guess here after the first clue?
I can only recall Democratic presidents, so the only this is really embarrassing. The only Republican I can really think of right now is Nixon, but not sure he played a plethora of instruments. But let's go with Nixon.
Nixon is correct.
wow.
Aaron from Iowa chooses the one Republican she remembers
How
from the
about that?
1900s.
How about that?
And it's correct. Richard Nixon played 5 instruments. Now,
Apparently, those 5 instruments didn't keep him busy enough.
that's right. No kidding. He had to get involved in scandal as well. Richard Nixon could never read music, Bran,
Okay.
but was naturally proficient at playing. He played piano on the Jack Parr program, which is like a forerunner
Tuned in every night.
to Johnny Carson. Of course you did. He also played Happy Birthday for Duke Ellington.
Happy birthday, Duke Ellington.
Callback. That's right. When he visited the White House. That's exactly right. All right. Aaron has the lead and she has the board.
Wow.
Aaron, your president played the violin and the cello.
Hello.
Cello. Your first clue. This president gave only 2 public speeches during his entire presidency.
Wow.
His first and second inaugural address.
Wow.
Oh, goodness. Well, the only thing I can think that's relevant for no reason at all is that my best friend in college played the cello. So
Okay.
we'll say
Awesome.
That is.
Were they
I have no idea.
were they
I
president
have
of the
no
United
idea.
States as well? Because we may have something.
Maybe. Let's just go with JFK.
JFK is incorrect.
That's awesome, though, that you were friends with JFK. That's
so
crazy.
cool. You sound way younger than that.
I know.
Lynn,
Right?
do you have a guess here?
I am going to guess Aaron's favorite president because I want this fanny pack, and Aaron has gotten all the answers right, whereas I've done the opposite of that. So I'm going to go with Aaron's favorite president, Thomas Jefferson.
Wow.
That's just a wild guess.
That's a wild guess, and Aaron's favorite president, Thomas Jefferson, is correct.
Wow.
Is correct. Man, you guys are nailing this game. Sax education is more just sax guess.
It's a sax guess.
So, yeah, that's correct. Thomas Jefferson is the correct answer, played the violin and the cello. He called music the favorite passion of his soul.
Wow.
He practiced 3 hours a day as a child, performed weekly concerts at the governor's house in Williamsburg, Virginia. Thomas Jefferson has allowed Lynn to tie the score.
Do you think that Who What When on South Carolina Public Radio is anybody's favorite passion of their soul?
I think somebody out there,
Great.
for sure. And that's what matters. We're playing a little game called Sax Education here on Who What When. Brand's asking questions and saying things. It's a lot of fun. We got 2 callers. Aaron from Iowa has 2 points. Lynn from Seacoast, New Hampshire has 2 points. And we've got 1 question left. And I got to be honest, this is a tough one.
All right.
This is a tough one. Lynn's going to get the first clue. This president played the violin. via Lynn gets the first question. Your first clue, Lynn. This president was never elected to office, but served almost a full 4-year term as president.
Man, that's my dream.
Never elected to office.
That's tough. Is that helpful for you, Lynn, knowing that they were never elected to office?
Yes, so it's somebody who stepped in for a president who either died in office or left for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna. I don't know. Would it be like someone like not Gerald Ford? Maybe.
Well, why not Gerald Ford?
Well, it could be Gerald Ford. Oh, Bran, I believe everything that you say, Bran, and that's always dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. You said it can't be, and I say maybe it can.
Could it be Gerald Ford?
It could be.
That's like a Republican of whom I don't know anything. So.
He's built Ford
I think
tough.
so, but I want the fanny pack, and I'm going to say Gerald Ford, and I will love you, Bran, even though you might have.
Boy, that is dumb.
Gerald Ford. Lynn doesn't love Bran, and Gerald Ford is incorrect.
Sorry.
No, that's not the person I was thinking of, but I couldn't think of it. But hopefully Aaron will get it wrong. Sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Yeah, Bran, what's your favorite tariff?
Oh, the abominable one.
No, aside from that one, which is everyone's favorite, of course.
Probably the tests that I used to take in high school, and you had a really nice tear to it. And the ones where you do the little circles, Scantrons.
Scantron was a good
probably
tariff.
my favorite tariff.
Yeah, for sure. Aaron, this president never elected to office, but served almost a full 4-year term as president. Do you have a guess?
I think I might. Well, I have a guess. I don't know if it's right. So in order to not be elected president, you have to step in for someone. So that means they probably were assassinated, as Lynn kind of alluded to. So again, the only person I can think of is Kennedy, because he was assassinated. So after him was LBJ, right? I'm gonna go with LBJ.
Lyndon Johnson is her guess, and that is incorrect. 2 very good guesses, considering, but both wrong nonetheless. So we go to our next clue. Lynn, your clue is, because of the interesting nature of his term in office, this president was known as the man without a party. The man without a party.
That was my whole high school.
Okay. Man without a party. So that sounds like one of those old-timey presidents again.
Okay.
And I could be wrong. How about John Tyler?
How about John Tyler? How about Lynn is correct? It is John Tyler.
Wow.
This is, she takes the lead. John Tyler, who not very well known as a president.
I didn't even know he was a president.
That's right. Yeah, he had a lot of famous tariffs. You would know, though,
okay,
for
good.
sure.
Yeah, of course.
He pursued a dream of being a concert violinist, got into politics instead, returned to the violin after his time in office, and would regularly play with his wife, who was an accomplished guitarist in her own right.
Was he the kid on Home Improvement?
Jonathan Tyler Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That was actually, he was related to Zachary William Jennings Ty Bryan.
Got it.
That's Sax Education. Aaron, Lynn, stick around. We've got another game coming up for you.
This is Who What When, South Carolina Public Radio's hour of history, games, and trivia. I am Brandon Gray.
And I'm Daniel Thompson. It's Music Week on the show, and we've got a real barn burner today, Bran.
We do indeedy do. Lynn from New Hampshire has 3 points, and Aaron from Iowa has 2 as we head into our break. But there is plenty of show left.
There sure is, Bran. Coming up right after this, we'll quiz them about some of the most important inventions in music history. Let's see if you can also get the right answers.
That's next on Who What When.
Welcome back to Who What When, an hour of history, games, and trivia here on South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. It is Music Week on Who What When, which is perfect for me as a lover of music, and I guess you could call me a little bit of a musician myself. We've got another great game coming up in a moment, but first, we need to let you know that if you want to be a contestant on our show, we would love for you to join us. And it's easy. You just got to give us a ring-a-ling-ling. 803-470-6347, or you can send us an email as well to scpublicradio.org.
And we've got our contestants from the first game, Aaron and Lynn, still on the line with us. Lynn's leading Aaron right now, but that could change in this next game, which we're calling Instrumental Inventions.
Ooh, that's a good title. A little less scandalous, but I like it.
Thank you. This is a multiple choice round about some of the inventions and inventors over the years that have helped to shape the world of music as we know it today.
And Aaron is going to go first this round. Aaron, are you ready for your first question in instrumental inventions?
Born ready. Let's do
I
it.
love it.
Born ready.
Question number 1. While not being the first to invent the phonograph or the microphone, the guy that held the patent on these sound devices was A. Albert Einstein, B. Nikola Tesla, C. Thomas Edison.
It's a great question.
Aaron, what do you think?
Well, I don't think it's Tesla, so let's go with Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison is correct.
Nice. No, that was really good.
She's tied it up.
Those are two.
Starting strong.
Listen,
And I will say this.
phonograph doesn't get
Yeah.
enough love.
Phonograph doesn't get enough love. And Edison had the patent on everything.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a natural. It's a really good job by Aaron. She tied it up.
That's why if I could do anything over again, I'd be one of the first to do it.
Really, if
Yeah.
you could do like really, that's a
Yeah.
really good thing to know.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't do that. But
Most
you,
people, I would.
you would.
If I could get it on the ground floor,
Yeah.
I could get all the
Most people are
patents.
like ground floor. I don't want any part of that.
They want to be on the top.
Yeah, I want to be top.
Corner office.
Corner office.
I say no, thank you.
Top of the pyramid's better than the ground floor of a pyramid, right?
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Okay. Lynn, your question. It's tied at 3 here on Instrumental Inventions. Your question. Utah electrician Nathaniel Baldwin first constructed these sonic cans out of copper wiring and an operator's headband. Were they A, headphones, B, stereo speakers, or C, amp cables?
This is a tough one because you do this sometimes where you use a word and then it's in the answer to, and then you try to trick us up.
That's right.
Is headband trying to steer you away or trying to steer you towards something? What do you think, Lynn?
I'm going to say stereo speakers.
She's going to say stereo speakers, and that is incorrect. We were trying to get everybody off to a good start here. We were looking for headphones. Is what we were
Headphones.
looking for.
No, it seemed like such an obvious answer.
Yeah. Okay, it's 3-3. It's Aaron's turn. It's South Carolina Public Radio. It's Who, What, When. It's Brandon Dan. It's Instrumental Inventions.
Fanny Pack is on the line.
Fanny Pack is on the line. Here we go. Aaron, your question. German-Austrian engineer Fritz Flumer.
Let's give it up.
Shout out.
Fritz. All right, Fritz. Fritz Flumer wanted to find an alternative to magnetic wires in order to record music, and he found it using iron oxide powder to help patent the first ever A, 8-track, B, magnetic recording tape, or C, laser disc.
Listen, I think all of us have been playing around with our iron oxide powder and stumbled upon an invention, but
Yeah.
most of us, just kind of keep it to ourselves.
That's right.
Unlike Fritz.
Yeah, Aaron, what are you thinking here? Are you thinking 8-track? Are you thinking magnetic recording tape, or are you thinking laser disc?
All right, I'm coming for that coveted fanny pack, especially knowing that Brandon made it himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a little bit of extra, love there. So I'm going to go with the answer B, magnetic recording device.
She's going with B, and she's correct. She's on a roll.
Wow. Can we all, though, acknowledge that Laserdisc was such a cool name? They really thought they
Yeah.
had something there.
Yeah, laser disc. I mean,
Laserdisc.
that sounds like the future,
Yeah.
even right now.
I know.
That's unbelievable.
Maybe they're ahead of their time.
All right, Lynn, you're now down 4-3. It's crunch time.
Can I just ask a question about the fanny pack? Will it be embroidered with my initials?
No. Listen, there's something I can
All
do.
right.
It's already made.
First of all, I hate that he sounded as perturbed as he did, but when it comes to the fanny pack, Brain is such an artist,
Yeah.
And like he's very.
It's not about you.
It's his.
It's about the art.
It's his vision.
Yeah.
He's so. That's why he has.
But I
to
do appreciate the
sit in
question.
the corner. That's right.
It's not about me.
Are you ready, Lynn?
My feelings are hurt, but I'm ready.
Yeah,
Sure.
it is about you right now. Your question number 4. Here we go. Bell Labs gets the credit for the next level in sound innovation with the 2-channel stereo, splitting up multiple tracks from a single source recording, hoping to create a more theatrical experience when listening to movie soundtracks. Disney utilized this for the first commercial film ever in stereo sound.
Wow.
It was A, Snow White, B, Fantasia, C, Pinocchio.
This is good. This is a good question. I think a way to think about it, Lynn, and again, I'm not trying to give you any advice here because clearly that's gone horribly. But what do you remember a movie, maybe a Disney movie, one of these three where you were like, wow, that sounds great?
Yes, Fantasia.
Fantasia is your final answer?
It is, and I hope it's for a fanny pack or to tie Aaron.
It is to tie Aaron. It is correct.
Nice.
How could it not be Fantasia?
How could it not be?
I mean, can you imagine if they used it on Pinocchio instead of Fantasia?
Man, the sound when his nose grows.
That's right. It's like
phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was
just-
like I was right there.
Yeah. Aaron, it's tied up 4-4. You have the board. It's your question here, playing a little instrumental inventions. Who, what, when, South Carolina Public Radio. Your question. Regency and Texas Instruments, the calculator brand, broke through the portable sound market first, creating this device, which made new, hip, rock and roll music available to many more people, even on the go.
Wow.
Was it A, the Walkman, B, the transistor radio, or C, the boombox?
Well, boombox, I don't really think is easy for someone on the go, unless you're,
You've never been to my skate park, Aaron.
No kidding.
Have you met the Ninja Turtles? I mean, come on.
Right. Good point. Or in your romantic comedy, you're trying to.
That's
course,
true.
yeah.
These are all
love
great.
somebody.
All great points.
I'm going to go with a Walkman.
She's going to go with a Walkman. and
That's what I would have gone with too.
She is incorrect.
We both would have been wrong.
The precursor to the Walkman, the transistor radio. Listening to all your jams on the radio, on the go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The transistor radio walked, so Walkman could run.
That's right.
Walk.
The
even though-
Walkman could run.
That's right.
Hey, Brandy, you hear that?
What's that?
That's the
Is that
door.
Pinocchio's?
No, it's the door creaking open for Lynn from New Hampshire's chances of winning that fanny pack.
Yes, amazing.
That's what that was.
Amazing.
Lynn, you got a chance to take the lead here. Are you ready for your next question?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm so ready.
Here we go. Your question. Jim Marshall, better known to his colleagues as Big
It's
Jim.
Big Jim, I was going to say.
That's right. Produced his now signature piece of equipment designed so that Pete Townsend and the Who's sound could be loud enough for stadium rock.
Oh, yeah.
Is it A, the JTM 45 amplifier? Is it B, the Shure Stadium microphone? Or is it C, the Jimmy Jam PA system?
Wow.
Well, I'm going to go with the amplifier.
She's going to go with the amplifier. Would it shock you to learn that it was the Jimmy Jam PA system?
It would shock me.
Because it wasn't. It was clearly the amplifier.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Are you a big fan of The Who, Lynn?
No, but I am a big fan of Who, What, When.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Really well
ready to
done.
share?
Really well
we're
done.
hiring Lynn, I think. is
Lynn,
what we're
I'm
doing.
not putting your name on the fanny pack. No matter how
matter what you
many
do.
how many nice things you say, I can't do it.
All right, Lynn has taken the lead. We're getting serious. Now, if you're doing the math here, Aaron still has 2 questions and Lynn only has 1 left. So that's all we got left, right? It's crunch time. If Aaron goes perfect here, she can still win it. It's going to come down to the wire.
It sure is.
Aaron, are you ready for your next question?
Yes, pressure's on.
Here we
I
go.
think I can do it.
Premiering at the Berlin Fair in 1963, the cassette tape changed the music game, allowing reel-to-reel music to be compacted into a 3mm wide tape and easily distributed. Which world-famous company first released the cassette tape? Ooh. Was it A, Sony, B, Philips, or C, Fender?
I know all those companies well, in fact.
Honestly, this is a guess with everything on the line, but I'm going to go with B. Phillips.
She's going to go with B, Phillips, and she is going to be correct.
Oh,
Wowzers.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy. So here's what we got, gang. We got 2 questions left here on Who, What, When, South Carolina Public Radio. Lynn has 5. Aaron has 5. They each have 1 more question. If they both get it right, they both get to go on and play for the fanny pack.
Wow.
That's how big a deal this is. Okay? So, Lynn, your final question. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm still back on the fanny pack. If Erin wins, are you going to put her name on the fanny
No one's name
no
is
one's
going
name
on
is
it.
going on the fanny pack.
pack? This is a missed opportunity. Okay.
No, it's not. No, it's
Everybody
not.
else is just thrilled to get one, Lynn. You're over here asking for specials. Here we go.
I'll behave. Go ahead.
All right, here we
I'm
go.
ready.
Your question. Originally designed for the Apple Macintosh in 1989 by Evan Brooks and Peter Gotcher.
Gotcha.
Its 1991 reboot became the most successful, completely digital recording and editing system in the world. A system that still, under a new name, is considered the easiest, most affordable way to produce studio quality music. Is it A, GarageBand, B, DigiDesign, or C, Pro Tools?
Oh, please be GarageBand. I have the app.
You going with GarageBand?
I am.
GarageBand is her answer, and GarageBand is incorrect.
You sneaky boy.
That was
you
sneaky.
sneaky boy,
That was
because
a
everyone
tricky
knows
one.
GarageBand's built into Macs now.
That is right.
Pro Tools, though, first on the scene.
Pro Tools is the OG. I will say this, if either one of these folks, if Aaron or Lynn was a musician, probably would have gotten Pro
Yeah.
Tools immediately. That's one of those that is, I don't know that you know all about Pro Tools.
I do,
I
yeah.
don't know much about it, but I know it's a big enough deal. I'm sorry, Lynn, that was a tricky question, and you can blame me for that. It is Pro Tools is the correct answer. However, you're still alive because Aaron gets the last question. If she, this is house money you're playing with, Aaron. If you miss it, you both move on. If you get it right, you get to move on for that fanny pack to see what happens in history or his story. Are you ready, Aaron?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Your question. T-Pain didn't invent it, but this 1990s voice-altering technology discovered by geophysicist Andy Hildebrand certainly didn't hurt his career. Is it A, voice mod, B, auto-tune, C, real sound?
Oh my! I don't think I'm going to get this right, so we might both be going on, which is great. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with auto-tune.
She's going to go with auto-tune, and she is going on to the finals.
Wow.
Here's what I'll say. I learned this. I wrote this question, and then it turns out T-Pain can really sing. Shout
Yeah.
out to T-Pain.
Shout out.
Before we throwing him under the bus there. I learned that after writing this. All right, here's the deal. Aaron from Iowa is moving on to try to win the vaunted fanny pack. Lynn from New Hampshire, one question away, Lynn.
Man.
Really, really sorry. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for playing. Any final words about that fanny pack that got away?
Well, I'm very happy for Aaron to get a fanny pack. I hope Bran changes his mind and puts her initials on it. I had a blast. You guys are great. I learned a lot here, and I also learned that I may not be smarter than a fifth grader.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lynn.
You're tuned in for Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia from South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Brandon Gray here with my buddy Daniel Thompson, and today's show is all about music history.
That's right, Bran. Our contestant, Aaron from Iowa, bested Lynn from New Hampshire to come out on top just now. But can her music knowledge take her far enough to secure the title of Who, What, When Champion of the Week? Maybe even win her a fanny pack? We'll see in our last round.
That's coming up right after this break here on Who, What, When.
Welcome back to Who, What, When here on South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. Thank you so much for joining us for this hour of games and trivia all about music history today. As a musician myself, I have loved this episode, and frankly, I've learned a lot, Dano.
And you've sung on the show before, Bran.
That's true. I've maybe sung a little Taylor Swift here on Who, What, When.
And it was great.
Go check out our Victorian era episode on Who, What, When, wherever you listen to podcasts. But it's not about me right now, Dan. It's about our contestant, Erin. She is still on the line. She took the lead in our last segment. It was thrilling. And now she's a chance to take home the title of Who, What, When Champion of the Week and that highly sought after musical edition of the Who, What, When Fanny Pack. And maybe, just maybe, I will throw in a song with the fanny pack. Don't
Wow.
ask how it's possible.
You're just writing checks right
I
now.
know.
Aaron, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling that Bran just upped the ante, and there's even more pressure than there was.
He did up the ante, and all you have to do is make it through our last game today. It's a little something called History or His Story.
That's right, Dan. History or His Story is one of our favorite games here on Who, What, When. This is how the game will work, Aaron. Dan has 3 stories from history. 2 of them are 100% real. They really happened. But one of them was made up completely by Dan. It is his story.
And Aaron, on today's episode, we're talking all about music and how it can lift you up, good music can make your spirit take flight. And that's why the theme for this history or his story is all about musicians and flight. Stories about musicians who used air travel under very peculiar circumstances.
Wow.
I'm going to read these stories, Aaron, and after each story, you're going to have a chance to ask some questions and think through everything as you try to pick out which one of these is my lie. Aaron, are we ready to go?
Ready.
All right, the first story is about Paul McCartney. You should know who Paul McCartney is. He is from the legendary band The Beatles, widely regarded as one of the most successful bands in the history of music. They sold 1.6 billion singles, 600 million albums, 21 Billboard Hot 100 number one singles, which is a record.
Yeah.
They were formed in 1958 with John Lennon, with George Harrison, with Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney. Ringo actually was added later. I don't want anybody to get mad about their Beatles history.
Everybody relax.
So, at some point in the band, not in the beginning, but actually after Stu Sutcliffe, who originally played bass in the band, left, Paul McCartney became the bassist of the Beatles, what he's most remembered from now. In 1961, he purchased a Hofner 500-to-1 violin bass guitar for 36 pounds. Pip, pip, cheerio.
Chip.
He said the reason he bought it is because it was cheap and looked symmetrical.
Okay.
It became his favorite instrument, and he used it to record every Beatles album. Paul purchased a second identical Hofner bass in 1963, which was used on all the classic Beatles albums that you have ever heard. Before the Let It Be documentary began filming in 1969, Paul's 1961 Hofner bass was stolen.
Son of a gun.
So he's got a 61 and he's got a 63. The 61 was stolen. That's exactly right. At this point, Paul McCartney became a little bit superstitious and wary of getting his 63 Hofner stolen.
More than fair.
What would he do to make sure that didn't happen? He kept it on his person pretty much at all times. When he would fly, he would actually purchase a seat. This is before private jets were as big a deal, for his bass. So he would actually put the bass in the plane seat next to him and actually buckle it up and keep it to where it wouldn't get hurt, or he would make sure that no one could steal it. In the 1990s, he would actually send his guitar technician on a Concorde flight from England to New York just to get the bass repaired at a very specific music shop. So in the 1990s, Paul McCartney is so famous that he sends a human being with his bass to hold it the whole time just so the bass can be repaired.
He's so relatable.
He is. The 63 Hofner is insured, although it's unknown the value it actually possesses, as it's still the guitar Paul uses at all of his concerts and recordings to this day. That is the end of story number one. Bran, what do you think?
This is a very interesting story. My hesitation on this, Aaron, and I'll pull back the curtain on my thoughts here, is at any point in time, if he had made it known that big fan of the Hoff, I think Hofner gang would have jumped at the opportunity to give him as many bases as he could possibly need. For him to be not just it's only this one brand, but this only particular bass guitar, that's the thing that's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I could see it. He's a very interesting person, but you could have any of their basses that you want if you just asked.
You
Paul
could be
McCartney.
all about that bass.
You could be all about that bass. So that's the thing that's kind of leaping out to me on this one. Aaron, what are your thoughts on this one?
My first thought was, I know that musicians can be very superstitious, as Dan alluded to, about their preferred instruments, and so maybe if he feels that was that important to him, maybe this isn't that far-fetched.
All right, we ready for story number two?
I'm ready.
Here we go. This story is about Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
Led Zeppelin is an English rock band formed in 1968 with members Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, and John Bonham.
John Paul, that was the president.
Yeah, no Pope. We're getting there, though. Sold over 300 million albums, earned a reputation for excess and debauchery during their record-breaking tours. From 1968 to 1980, they were considered the world's most popular live music attraction, selling more tickets and selling out more concerts around the world than any other artist. That leads us to August 26th, 1971. Led Zeppelin's 1971 North American tour in Houston, Texas which was their first North American tour in over a year, fans began throwing folding chairs at the stage in protest of overpriced tickets.
So they bought tickets.
Bought tickets.
Thought they were overpriced, and upon going to the show, they threw.
Going to the show,
Got it.
started throwing chairs
Interesting.
at the stage. Of the 3 chairs that made it to the stage, 1 grazed Robert Plant, but no one was injured. All 3 patrons, obviously, you're thinking there's a lot of people throwing chairs. There are 3 people throwing chairs here.
Okay.
Maybe they were plants. Robert, see what we did there? The Sam Houston Coliseum pressed charges on one patron that threw a chair and subsequently resisted his removal from the concert. James Verner, the chair thrower himself, went to trial in October of the same year. Led Zeppelin's North American tour had finished up 2 weeks prior, but Robert Plant, having just returned home to England, decided it was important enough to fly back to Houston on his own dime in his own jet for Verner's trial, and he testified to being hit with a chair and seeing Verner visibly disruptive at the concert. That visibly disruptive is in quotes. Verner was sentenced to 30 days in prison for disorderly conduct. He was fined $500 and was barred from ever attending the Sam Houston Coliseum ever again. That is the end of story number 2.
It's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
In my mind, it seems like just an interesting way to go about protesting overpriced tickets. I think the story gets lost there a little bit.
Yeah.
By buying the ticket just to throw chair. But again, that's maybe just not the way that I would have gone about it. Listen, everybody does things their
they
own
paid
way.
their money.
They did pay their
They can
money.
throw the chairs.
They can throw. They shouldn't though.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't.
Maybe you should protest by not. Anyway, Aaron, your thoughts? Or anything stick out to you? And do you have any questions about this story?
I don't think I have any questions. I think Bran is on to something about the way of protesting. It is interesting that he would fly so far on his own dime to just be there for a trial that's only sentenced for 30 days. So not
That's right.
sure about that.
Robert Plant is big on justice.
Yeah. Listen, that's what rock and rollers, they're known for a few things.
That's right.
You know, sex, drugs, and
Justice.
the criminal justice system.
Yeah, it's the rule of law.
They love it.
Sex, drugs, and the rule of law is what they're known for. That's
Yeah.
right. You ready for story number 3, everybody?
Ready.
Here we go.
Yes.
This story is about Elvis Presley. Maybe you've heard of him.
Heard of them.
Elvis Presley sold over 1 billion records. He had 600 songs, never wrote a single one of them. True story. He didn't. Other people wrote his songs for him. His personality is historical. People love to impersonate Elvis Presley. And the other thing we know about Elvis Presley is he loved him some peanut butter and banana sandwiches. It is a staple of Elvis and a staple of some Southern homes,
The
I might
PB
add.
and Nanner. It's
Nanner.
key.
Yeah, on February 1st, 1976, Elvis was known, first of all, for his frivolous spending, not just on himself, but his family and others, as well documented by a lot of different movies. He was known to give away watches and shoes, and he hosted a captain of the Denver, Colorado police force, as well as a member of Colorado's strike force in Graceland, Tennessee, people that were helping keep crowds at bay. You know, he's once again, sex, drugs, rule of law. Very, very important. Both of these people had worked security for Elvis on his trips to Denver, Colorado. And they began to have a few drinks and began to talk, and Elvis told them about his favorite sandwich of all time, which was not in Graceland, Tennessee. It was in Colorado, where they're from.
Okay.
He found out they had never had this sandwich. When you hear about the sandwich, there's a reason they had never had it. It's called the Fool's Gold Sandwich.
Okay.
From the Colorado Mine Company in Denver, Colorado. They hollow out an entire loaf of bread.
Okay.
Fill the jar with 1 jar of creamy peanut butter, 1 jar of grape jelly, 1 pound of bacon. It's a lot of bacon.
A lot of bacon.
It's 8,000 calories. This one sandwich is 8,000 calories, and it retailed for $50.
But if you eat it all in under 30 minutes, you get it free,
get
and you win a T-shirt.
a free
actually, I
bejeweled
believe.
Elvis
that was my understanding.
coat. That's
Yes.
right. So after a few drinks, Elvis decided that he wanted one of those sandwiches right now. And in true Elvis fashion, he called up his assistant. They fired up the private jet. They immediately flew 1,100 miles, landing at the Denver airport. The owners, as a husband and wife team that owned the Colorado Mine Company, met them at the airport. Here's what they met him with: 22 Fool's Gold sandwiches.
Whoa.
All right, if you're doing a little bit of math at home, 176,000 calories worth of sandwiches. Champagne and Perrier water, because you got to wash that
You gotta-
8,000
listen.
calorie.
The peanut butter gets sticky.
That's right. Yeah. He brought 2 buddies from Denver, 2 restaurant owners, their son, and 2 pilots. Those are all the people there. They ate all 22
Whoa.
sandwiches.
So there were some that ate multiple.
176,000 calories were eaten by 8 people total. Ate all 22 sandwiches, and then they flew back home. That is the end of story number 3.
That is an amazing feat. Even in Colorado, where people are prone to have the munchies, this is an amazing feat. 22 sandwiches. That is crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love this story a lot, and I'd like to try this sandwich at the very least. Aaron, what about this story is interesting you, and do you have any questions about it?
So you might cut this out, but my first thought was like, how high were they?
That's right. Oh, my goodness.
No, I can't process that much food for 8 people.
Yeah. Elvis died a year after eating this. So, I mean,
Oh.
Well,
Well, that doesn't track.
It took that long for the peanut butter to get through his system.
I was just going to say, I know, Dan, I feel like you always try to throw in a story that seems like it would be false, but it really is true. And I'm wondering if this Elvis story is actually that.
I like the way you think, Aaron. That's the way I like to play this game. It's less about which one is definitely true and more about how is Dan trying to trip me up.
That's right.
And that's a great way to play the game, Aaron.
Always good way to play the game. Even though sometimes I'll double cross.
You can't double cross a single
You can't
cross.
triple
though.
stamp, but double stamp.
So, Aaron, here are those stories again for History of His Story. Number 1 was Paul McCartney, who pays thousands of dollars to fly his beloved base first class from England to New York to be repaired. Story number 2 was Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin, who took a private plane from England to Houston to testify against a concert goer who threw a folding chair on stage. Or story number 3 was it Elvis Presley, who flew 2 of his buddies thousands of miles just to eat thousands of calories worth of sandwiches. 2 of those are real. 1 of them is a lie that Dan made up.
Aaron, the moment is right now for that vaunted Who, What, When fanny pack. Which story is my story?
I have to go with Led Zeppelin. I don't know why, except I just feel like Paul McCartney, that seems somewhat logical. I feel Dan is trying to tease us and throw us off track with the Elvis, so that leaves the Led Zeppelin story.
I
All
agree
right.
with that, Aaron. If I was playing the game, I would have gone with Led Zeppelin
Well,
as
it
well.
just doesn't bode well for you, Aaron, because he hardly ever gets them right. Story number 1, Paul McCartney's bass, 100% true.
Yeah.
Crazy, but true. He does have that bass flown with a technician. He loves that. He's all about that bass.
He's all about that particular bass.
That bass. That's right.
I'm all about that particular bass.
Particular bass. Yeah, that's right. You're going to get copyrighted on that. It
I
sounded
know.
just like
I
it.
know.
Elvis's flight for the munchies and he and 8 people consuming 176,000 calories of sandwiches is also true, which means Bran is right. Aaron's right.
Amazing.
Chosen my story correctly. You're the winner this week on Who, What, When on South Carolina Public Radio, and you get a fanny pack with your initials engraved on there.
Aaron, congratulations.
Thank you. This was a blast.
Aaron, thanks for playing Who, What, When.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for this musical edition of Who, What, When. We should have sung the whole thing, but we didn't. Thanks to our contestants, Aaron and Lynn, for playing today, and congratulations again to Aaron for taking home the title of Who, What, When Champion of the Week.
Our producer is A.T. Shire. Our executive producer is Sean Birch, who says he can only carry a tune when he's physically carrying a record. This show is a production of South Carolina Public Radio and is made possible in part by listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina.
If you want to be a contestant on a future episode of Who, What, When, give us a call at 803-470-6347. Again, that's 803-470-6347. Or send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
You can find out more about the show and listen to this episode again at our website, southcarolinapublicradio.org/whowhatwhen.
And don't forget that you can subscribe to Who, What, When wherever you listen to podcasts and listen anytime you want to. through your smart speaker by asking it to play Who, What, When.
I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. Join us again next week for more history, games, and trivia right here on Who, What, When.